the 19th of September, here comes episode number 568. मुसाफिर हूँ यारो, न घर है न ठिकाना, मुझे चलते जाना है,
It's 9:30.
चलते जाना. What does it mean? It means a lot to free agents when it comes to the world of sports. And something different has happened over the past week. We usually know that foreign players who play in the Indian domestic competition and other sports, when they are not competing in their usual sporting event, they are focused on other things. They are hottest free agents, means they are not tied under any contract. They're free to go about their business as they want. And did you think that Indian sports athlete would be included in the list of hottest free agents? Well, over the past 1 week, the decision by two Indian athletes has led to exactly that. Raina and Uthappa, two decent Indian players. The former who had started on a high note, but as always, as is the want of the Indian Cricket Board, they discarded this particular individual and he was not to be seen after a year spent in this particular business. Vaina, on the other hand, spent 12 years doing the job, but he was once again shown the door, but not in a dignified manner. So what did they do? They retired formally a couple of years ago, but that retirement was not exactly a full retirement. They were still under the protection and under the rules of the Indian Cricket Board and the Indian T20 domestic competition, which meant that neither of these two players were free to play in other domestic competitions. But now, at the ages of 36 and 37, they have done something which was deemed to be impossible, because the Indian T20 domestic competition was going to be the financially secure employment they had post retiring from international sports. But they decided that no, even at that level, they were not given chances. Vaina had a very strained relationship with his team. He was not picked up over the past couple of years. And after waiting and even going to plan B, which is being a commentator, it did not work. So what did they do? They retired from every possible Indian tournament. It means domestic, international, and it means that they no longer have the protection, they're no longer under the protection of the umbrella of the Indian Cricket Board. And now they're free, if selected by other competition, to pursue those competitions. They're no longer attached to the rigid rules and the bullying nature of the Indian Cricket Board. But here comes a caveat. Will they be selected by other teams? Will age play a factor? Because they are not young exactly, because in sports, if you are 36, you may as well be 70 in normal life. If you are 36 and 37, of course, reflexes slow down, and how long can you continue? That will be an important question when teams pick them up. It means that the Indian Cricket Board cannot object because these two are no longer under their employment. That part has been terminated. They are free agents. They may or may not be selected, but there's always hope that they will be given a chance. Of course, they can go to plan B, like it happens with every other sports athlete, go to commentary. They may be given a coaching job. They may not play as an active player, but they may be given a coaching job, which is fair enough. Will they get a chance? Well, Vaina is slightly more popular than Uthappa, having played for a longer duration. Uthappa started on a high note, was part of the 2007 World Cup winning team, but could not make his career into a formidable one because he tried everything, but the Indian cricket board decided no, Mustafa is not performing as per our expectations, and then the emergence of a few players pushed him to the periphery, and here we are now at the brink of them being the hottest free agents. But compare them with two New Zealand players, Jimmy Nisham and Trent Bolt. They are still active players. What they have done is they have declined central contracts. What does it mean? They are free to pick and choose and play a match as per their convenience, which means if the Indian T20 domestic competition goes on for long and it leads into the international calendar where New Zealand is scheduled to play a match, they can say we will continue to play this tournament and we can play that tournament later on. And because there is no central contract, even the selectors may be free to give them a chance or not give them a chance, but they didn't have to fully retire. That's the difference. Whether we see it as a negative or a positive, I leave it to the intelligence of the listeners. But here's another thing. Will we see this Mustafa Wainwright trend go on? Whether it's a dangerous trend or not, I don't know. At least for me, it's not a dangerous trend. It's nothing to worry about. It's not like the Ben Stokes situation where he resigned from one format and everybody said no, that format is irrelevant. Why is it happening in the world of 20 overs which finishes in 3 hours, or in some cases where the authorities don't care, it goes on for 5 hours. But that's a different thing. That's time management, and that's not an important discussion right now. Will we see other players who are irregular in the team and who after a while feel, well, I'm not getting a chance at the international level, at the domestic level, I'm not being picked up? Will I retire completely and play for these teams? It's a gamble because the financial security, which, as we have heard often, the Indian Cricket Board gives, may not be up to the level of what other tournaments may be able to give them. But that's a risk in both ways. We have seen a lot of players who only play at the domestic level, and which doesn't include the Indian T20 competition, or it did for them, and they might follow this with the Wainwright trend. They may not ever get to play at the highest level because there is so much crowded. There are 10 people for one position and you can only accommodate 2 or 3 because you can only play 11 players at a time. This could become a trend if the Indian Cricket Board doesn't get its act together. You never know what's going to happen. And then we all know that the Indian Cricket Board doesn't allow players who are under its contract with the domestic, international, or wherever to play for other competitions. Mustafa and Wainwright are a different story for now because they're seen as a rival competition. So that part is not happening unless these players say no, I'm not happy just playing at a particular domestic level. I want to play for those tournaments. If that means resigning and completely cutting off myself from the Indian Cricket Board, terminating the contract, terminating the employment, despite the risks involved and despite the financial umbrella being cut off, I might just well be a traveller. Because that's true for the like of Rashid Khan, and this song suits the like of Rashid Khan. मुसाफिर हूँ यारो, अगर है न ठिकाना, मुझे बस चलते जाना, बस चलते जाना. Will we see more players become the epitome of this song? Well, if they don't get selected at the international level, and if those same players who play at the Ranji Trophy level and its LI tournament don't get selected for the Indian T20 domestic competition, because there also ego comes into play when players are selected, and how they are selected, how they feel that this player is not suited and this player is suited. Is it the name? Is it or the glamour? I don't know. But this is a trend which will happen. Unlike Nisham and Board, no Indian player will say I am declining central contract. It's not going to happen. The Indian Cricket Board is too rigid and too egoistic to allow such a thing. Other boards, they have to shed their ego because they have limited treasure in their treasury, they have limited capabilities. Indian Cricket Board somehow has gone its way to becoming the richest governing body. How it happened, why it happened, it's a matter of pride, it's a matter of shame. I'm not getting into that, but will we see more players, especially from the Indian side, become free agents? That's a possibility which has to be kept in mind because that can happen if the Indian Cricket Board doesn't get its act together and doesn't pay the same amount it pays to the international cricketers, and the same international cricketers get a windfall when they play for the teams at the Indian T20 domestic competition. Something to ponder about. Yes, will we see more hotter free agents or free agents overall? That's a possibility, but no way any Indian cricketer worth their salt will have the guts to tell the board I am declining the contract. If they decline the contract, they may as well as retire, sit at home, and then rue the chances. Of course, plan B is always there, commentary, but even that place is crowded, so who knows what will happen. I'll talk about that part on a later evening, but hotter free agents, that's a distinct possibility. It's happened in the Indian circle for the first time, at least at this level. Is it happening in other sports? I don't know. Other sports are a different story. We talk about them separately, but it's a possibility which has to be taken into consideration. Another possibility which has to be taken into consideration, something, a tournament which starts tomorrow, which is seen as a dress rehearsal for the World Cup, and with 6 matches to go. How do I look at the India-Australia T20 Cup and the India-South Africa T20 Cup to subsequently follow? I'm not getting into this debate about experiments and finalizing the team and making sure that whoever plays in this tournament are the final 11-12 players. Whoever is vested for whatever reasons. I'm not going into those technical and boorish details. For me, it was just a tournament which was included just to make a few individuals happy, as we always do. This tournament may have its advantages, may have its disadvantages, may see a few players being tested, and the whole controversy over why a certain player was not selected in the 15 and why was the player put in the standby reserve team. That's a debate which never gets over. Though I'm disappointed that the team went for Umesh Yadav after Shami got the virus. Again, they could have gone for a younger 20-21-year-old player. There are so many 20-year-olds waiting for a chance. Do you want them to go the Uttapar way if they don't get a chance? They work their backside off to get a chance. Good that Umesh Yadav gets a chance. He's 34 and a half, so he's in that zone of senior citizen and super senior citizen. But on the other hand, you see our neighboring countries experimenting with 18, 19-year-olds, and our Indian Cricket Board selectors are hesitant. Of course, the question is we cannot just pick up a player who has no experience a month before a World Cup. We have to go with individuals who have been there, done that, not getting a chance. So there's so much of permutation and combination and debates and controversy regarding this. How do I look at this tournament? I think it's something that both the teams should enjoy. The results of this tournament will not affect what will eventually happen at that level. Every country has scheduled 5-6 matches before the World Cup, as we have seen often, just to stuff in more matches and make broadcasters and other stakeholders, indirect stakeholders happy. That's all we want. Whether players are happy or not, it doesn't matter. Why? Because they are being paid a good amount. The job is to make the broadcasters happy because everything comes from them. The paycheck comes from the broadcasters. There are over 20 sponsors. they are the ones who are giving the Indian cricket board that financial obesity. So who cares about if the players are not happy? Who cares if a player plays more than they bargained for? No one cares. Why? Because the players are getting a good paycheck. They are being spoiled to the maximum. They are spoiled brats at every level, traveling in private planes. So why should they complain? That's how the Indian cricket board looks at this. But back to this tournament, whatever happens, I'm not worried about the result. Whether we win the tournament 6-0, including Australia, South Africa, or whether we lose 6-0, or whether it's 3-all, it doesn't bother me. Whatever has to happen will happen. I would have preferred if the South African team would have also been called and we would have gone for a twice series triangular tournament. That would have been much more useful instead of splitting the two. But whatever the governing bodies have in mind is something that we cannot argue with. They go with the logic to organize tournaments, one for the money, one for giving players maximum chances that they are ready. They're not what one calls ring bust, so that when they enter the squared circle a month from now or just under 3 weeks from now, they don't complain of not getting enough time as a player. And that's important. So you have to balance it on both sides. So I think this tournament may be important. Of course, everyone is ruining the chances at the Asian Champions Trophy or last year's World Cup performance. I don't know why we're looking at that. Last year's World Cup was just fluke, and it was a tournament which should be deleted from memory and never be seen as an official tournament. I'll talk more on that later. But I don't see that tournament as something to be worried about, something as we were knocked out and we didn't do well. Well, it really doesn't matter at this point in time. But this tournament may just give a windfall to few players. Talking about the windfall, everyone is excited that Roger Federer has finally decided to retire. But the question is, Roger Federer who? Nadal who? Why are we obsessed with Federer and Nadal? Move on. Yes, they have captivated us for over 20 years. They have won Grand Slam tournaments and they have done things which nobody else has done. Over 20 Grand Slam tournaments, winning Wimbledon and Australian Open and French Open and US Open and whatever opens and whatever closes. But he's retired. Good. He's gone. And I feel there are much more talented players in the mix who can do the job. There are more talented players than Federer and Nadal and Djokovic and Murray. Okay, maybe they were talented, but the interesting thing is we look at these players when they come to press conferences, they're all smiling and they're all talking in a very nice manner. That's phony. That's part of the gimmick. They have to keep up. That's keeping up appearances. We don't know what they are when they're off camera. We don't know how nice they are when they're off camera. But let's see what the over-obsessed newspapers had to say when this guy decided to retire. It's a publicity stunt. If you are announcing your retirement in such a manner, it's nothing more than publicity stunt. You realize that you haven't got that media coverage and now you get a full one-page coverage. That's a win-win situation. I don't know how other newspapers are dealing with it outside India. I don't think they even care, but we care. We care for Federer and Nadal and Williams sisters and whatnot. We're obsessed with them. And everyone says, my favorite player is Nadal, my favorite player is Federer. What gives you the right? How can you say that? Just because they've won over 20 championships? Then I can say that John Cena is also a good one because he's tied with Ric Flair for 17 championships. He hasn't got a chance to go to number 18 at 16, not 17 at 16. Roman Reigns is a decent guy because he's also at the professional level, at a personal level. These tournaments, ATP, it's not a government-based organization, it's a personal, private organization. Does it count? Maybe it does. Then so should professional wrestling. Maybe professional wrestling should get the same space. If we are giving this space to professional, private, badminton and tennis tournaments. And just like that, it was over. We always knew it was around the corner, but there was maybe one last time by the flickering all the time. Now we know it is not happening. Time will be no farewell, no grind, or midnight despair. Roger Federer will not be performing for us beyond the Laver Cup next year. So, should I be crying? Someone else will come and do the job. That's how things work. One player goes, another one replaces him or her. That player performs for 15, 16 years, someone else comes. But we are still hungover, 2 or 3 players. We are still hungover. Their time is up. I said that a year ago. I'm saying that right now. Winning championship doesn't make somebody great. I haven't met Federer, so I don't know whether this player is nice off camera, whether they pretend to be nice on camera. I don't know. But why don't we start giving space to the current lot, to the 18, 19-year-olds? Give them that space, give them that respect. Go away from Nadal and Federer and Williams. They did their job. They earned their right. They earned the money. Now they can be coaches, administrators, whatever they want to be. It doesn't matter now. And of course, the Laver Cup is now more at the national level, Europe versus the world. So we see these 3 phony players come together from different parts of Europe. But I'm not excited because it happens every year. So what if we don't see Federer perform? There's Casper Ruud, there's Alcaraz, there's Medvedev. Why aren't we putting the focus on them? Why are we obsessed with the ones gone by? They're gone. It's done. Just like in cricket, certain players are done. They decided that okay, I've done enough. I don't have the energy left. I'm moving on. So just move on. If you're self-obsessed, it's an unhealthy obsession. And I think that's something we need to address, and that's something the newspapers need to address. The final memory of Federer playing a match at Wimbledon will be the breakup that he suffered at the hands of Hubert Hurkacz. But that's life. Life was never meant to be a fairy tale. I don't even know why do we keep using the word fairy tale. There is no fairy tale ending. There is no fairy tale beginning. You perform, good. Even if you lose, fine. So many players lose, especially in such singles sports. Teams lose in team sport, and yet we are focused on 1 or 2 individuals. I don't even get that. Because it's just the way humans think, and humans have a very twisted way of thinking. And with pseudo media polluting our minds, renting a space in our minds have gone just berserk. Our minds are like a charred coal, or when you overcook something and it becomes black. That's what the effect of pseudo media has had on our mind. It's like an overcooked charcoal brain now. We can't even think for ourselves. We protest over petty things. We want to win attention, so first we say all kinds of rubbish on pseudo media, then some group protests, so we're trying to defend ourselves, and then we all know what happens after that. Coming back to Federer, Nadal, and their contemporaries, they are done, move on. Whether one is 41, one is 36, one is 33, whatever. Give space to the new guys. Let them be in the limelight. Let them get the obsession these individuals have been getting over the past 2 decades. But for me, if 20 championships was a way to judge, then it's time to include professional mixed martial arts in the mix, time to include professional boxing in the mix, time to include professional wrestling. Why don't we count these sports if we are counting professional tennis, which is not even at the government level, which has nothing to do with the government level, it's at a private level, it's at a level which is personal. I would include professional. If I was the editor of a newspaper, I would talk about professional wrestling every single day. If you're giving obsession to such players, and why not include Roman Reigns and his contemporaries and the players before that and the players who come? That's how things work. You have to maintain the balance, but we cannot maintain the balance. Human beings cannot be balanced, not since the past 2 decades when pseudo media rents a space in our mind, pollutes it, and then you become that black charcoal which is completely disintegrated and disfigured. 21st of September 2020.